This special meeting of the Board of Equalization for Oklahoma County to order. It is now 9:30. Today is Friday, April the 4th, 2025. And notice of this meeting was posted properly on April the 1st. We have a bunch of items on the agenda today. Part of them are going to be two of us, and the other part will be all three of us. Roll call, Mr. Brett Town.
Present.
Ms. Teresa Sellers.
Present.
And I'm Eleanor Thompson. Okay, the first item. Okay, did I not see some approval of ordinance?
Yes.
Which one?
Thank you. Okay, the first item on the agenda, discussion and possible action regarding the minutes of March 18th, March 19th, March 21st, 24th, and 26th. So let me see. So you were not here on the 24th and 26th?
Correct.
Okay, so let's take them separately. Let's have a motion for March 18th, 19th, and 21st.
So move that we accept the minutes.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, now for the 24th and the 26th.
I move we approve the minutes of March 24th, 26th, 2025.
I'll second, and all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, now we'll go to item number 2. We'll pick Teresa up on 16. Okay, BOE number 25. This was 3181 North Harbor, account R197-84-12-15. The assessor was at 172, and the property owner was at 95. And on all of his theory was,
Eleanor, I have the assessor was at 159.5
wait a minute, did I turn wrong?
on BOE 25.
Oh, sorry, wrong page.
Okay.
159, and the owner was at 130. And his theory, this is all the ones that are Anastasia Investment, is that 1% of the rent should be 1% of the fair market value. So whatever his rent was, he assumed that was 1% of the fair market value. Which I'm not taking that. I reject that notion. So we look at the fair market value, we look at the assessor's comps, his medians, and his means. And unless we get to one where we heard something that just kind of made the assessor's assessment not accurate, I'm pretty much stick to where the assessor is. So on this one, with a mean of 158.5 and a median of 171, the assessor is below both the median and the mean. So I didn't see any reason to reject it.
I agree with you. The taxpayer poses a theory that we should base these on fair market rental value, which isn't a basis for valuation. We have to base our calculations on what the market value between a willing buyer and a willing seller, primarily on comp sales. So I certainly wish I could get on a rental house that's valued at $300,000. I wish I could get $3,000 a month. But that's not that's not the market in this value for rentals. So I concur with what you've said, and I'd like to move that we set the fair market value of this property based on the assessor's comps at $159,500.
And I second. Mr. Town?
Yes.
Ms. Thompson says yes. All right, so the next item on the agenda is BOE number 26, 3201 North Harbor, residential number 1978 41 225. The assessor had it for 187. Taxpayer, property owner wanted 120. The median was 196.74, and the mean was 191.015. The assessor being under both of those, I don't disagree with the assessor's valuation.
I'd like to move on BOE number 2 that we set the fair market value at $187,000.
26, and I second. Mr. Town?
Yes.
Ms. Thompson says yes. All right, item number 27, BOE number 27, 3221 North Harbor, number 1978 41 235. Assessor had a fair market value assessment of 191, and the property owner wanted 100. The median was 193,139. The mean was 192,027. I agree with the assessor's valuation.
I agree with the assessor as well, so I move that we set the fair market value of this property at $191,000.
I second. Mr. Town?
Yes.
And Ms. Thompson votes yes. All right, for item BOE number 28, 14480 Norton Drive, resident number 1978 412 45. The assessor valued at 172,000. Property owner wanted 95,000. The median was 174,572. The mean was 174,052. The assessor was under each one of those, so I don't disagree with the assessor's valuation.
Concerning item number 5, BOE 28, I move to set the fair market value of this property at $172,000.
I second. Mr. Town?
Yes.
And Ms. Thompson votes yes. BOE number 29, 3057 North Harper, resident number 1978 41 255. The assessor has it at 203,000. The property owner wants 120. The median was 205,000 and the mean was 197. The assessor was below that. If you want to change anything on that one, I'll entertain it. Otherwise, I'll leave it the way it is.
No, the assessor's valuation that they're requesting is between the mean and the median. It seems to be fair based on, and it's all 2024 comps.
Right.
So I'd like to move on BOE 29, agenda item 6, that we set the fair market value at $203,000.
I second. Mr. Town?
Yes.
And Ms. Thompson votes yes. BOE number 3035 North Harper, resident number 1978 41 265. The assessor has it at 168.5. The property owner wants 77,500. The median was 168,200. The mean was 165,900. So the assessor is right at the median.
And the 2024 value of this property was 161.
Mhm.
So with 6+% increase in the Choctaw area, I find this to be acceptable. So I move on BOE number 30, agenda item 7. We set the fair market value of this property at $168,000.
I second. How do you vote?
Yes.
And Ms. Thompson votes yes.
Do you have 168,000 or 168,500?
168.5. Sorry.
Okay, I need to amend
Amend.
my motion to state that the fair market value that we're asking for approval of is $168,500.
And I second that. And how do you vote?
Yes.
And Ms. Thompson votes yes. Thank you. Okay, BOE number 31 is 14422 Norton Lane, property number 1978, 41305. This is at 36th and Choctaw. The assessor valued at 181,500. The property owner wants 120,000 flat. The median was 186.5. The mean was 187.7. And last year, the valuation was 173.5.
Now, this property is between the mean, or is lower than the median and the mean, so I think it's a fair valuation. So I move on BOE number
31.
031, agenda item 8, that we set the fair market value of this property at 181,500.
I second. How do you vote, Mr.
Yes.
Chair? Ms. Thompson votes yes. Okay. Now the next item, you still have?
Yes.
BOE number 12, the Inman Trust, 2301 Northeast 131st. This is at Memorial and Eastern. The assessor has it at 1,535,500. The property owner would like to have it at 1,250,000. He didn't care for the comps. This is a gated community. Last year it was at 1,056,000. I do not have the mean and median on the comps.
The median was 1,578,708, and then the mean was 1,578. No, are they the same? I think they are.
Okay.
For some reason, median and mean were the same.
The same.
My only issue with this is the backstory on this is a neighborhood that property hadn't sold in many, many years, and property finally sold. And I think the neighborhood is in shock when they had an actual market assessment of their property.
Ouch. What would the increase be for that area? Percentage?
It would be in the sixes, I believe. I don't have that in front of me. Do you have what the Edmund?
I don't.
That was pretty low, 2.667.
I think the problem is that this one is based on comp sales, and there's one comp sale. So what we would be doing, whatever we do, is going to set a basis for that neighborhood
Right.
going into the future. And
You want to split the difference? What was the sale? Do you remember what the sale
the
was?
sale was a smaller house, and it was $1,250,000.
That's how he got the money.
Yeah.
And it was the house
The house was 30% smaller
than this one.
than this one.
Well, I can't do the one, two.
So I would be willing to consider
You want 1.4?
1.4 as a compromise, just due to the nature of this is a huge increase.
Okay.
And it really, it always gets me that people are griping about increasing the value of their homes when it doesn't affect their taxes. So
Right.
anyway, I would, if you're comfortable, I would move that we set the value of this property of BOE number 12, 2301 Northeast 131st Street at $1,400,000.
I second. How do you vote, Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I vote yes. Okay, so BOE number 13 is 14438 Norton Lane. We're back to the original property owner here. 193,000, and it's down from last year. It was 200,500, and he wants 100,000. It's come steadily down. It was to have a mean and median. So the median is 195,160, and the mean is 186,422. So the assessor is in between. So
I can certainly accept the assessor's valuation in this case, so I'd like to move on BOE number 13, agenda item 10, that we set the fair market value of this property at $193,000.
I second. How do you vote, Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
And Ms. Thompson votes yes. All right. BOE number 14, resident 1978, 41055, 3131 Effie Drive. The assessor was at 105.5, came down to 100,980. Oh, we set this one.
We set
We
this
set
at
this one at 96.7. We go to the next one, BOE number 15. I'm still out.
Allow.
R 1979 42805, 2612 North Harper. The R 1979 42805. The assessor has it at 130,500, and he wants, the property owner wants 57,500.
On this property, the assessor's valuation for this year is significantly lower than the mean and the median in this area.
Yeah, 147,514 and 139.
Last year's valuation was 124, so I don't have any qualms with the assessor's valuation.
Neither do I.
I'd like to move on BOE number 15, agenda item 12, that we set the fair market value of this property at $130,500.
I second. How do you vote, Mr.
Yes.
Chairman? And Ms. Thompson votes yes. You in now?
Nope.
No.
Okay. BOE number 16, 1979 42229, 2700 North Harpridge, 23rd and Choctaw Road. The assessor has it at 177,000. The property owner wants 95,000 because it gets $950 rent. The median was 179,736, and the mean was 179,121. Last year was at 170, and then the year before 154. So we're below the median and the mean.
The assessor used all 2024 comps in this area. I feel like we can accept the assessor's valuation in this case.
Okay.
So on BOE number 16, agenda item 13, I move to set the fair market value of this property at $177,000.
I second. How do you vote, Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I mean, Ms. Thompson votes yes.
Two more.
Okay, item BOE number 17, 2702 North Harper, 1979 42-230. Property owner wants 100,000, and the assessor has it at 147. The median was 151.7, and the mean was 150.55. So we're below both of them, and it was 140 in the year before.
I think this is a fair valuation at this point in time, so I'd like to move on BOE 17, agenda item 14, that we set the fair market value of this property at $147,000.
I second. How do you vote, Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
And Ms. Thompson votes yes. Okay, BOE number 18 is 3186 Effie Drive, number 1978, 41145. Property owner asked for a valuation of 50,000. It's at, by the assessor, 109,000. The median was 123,327, and the mean was 114,711. So way below both.
I consider this a fair valuation. So I move on BOE number 18, agenda item 15, that we set the fair market value of this property at $109,000.
I second. How do you vote?
Yes.
Ms. Thompson votes yes. You're in now.
I am.
Okay. All right. The next item on the agenda is BOE number 33.
Yes.
14470 Norton Drive, number 1978, 41-75. The assessor has was at 125,500, dropped it to 113,450, and the property owner wants 95,000. The median was 113,450. The mean was 114,882.
So now that I'm in, I can say that I agree with both of you all that the taxpayers or the property owners argument about the rental income, I disagree with. Matter of fact, the article says rental income should be at least 1%, which to me is more of an explanation of how you should set your rental income rather
Right.
than the value of the property. So it was kind of the opposite of what it should be. I think we all know that there's a different way to calculate the value of a property using rental income, but it includes other factors that he's not taking into account. So on BOE 33, I'm good with the assessors. The assessor dropped it to 113,450 from 125,500, and that is well in line with the medium and the mean.
Yes.
I would second that.
Yes.
Well, we don't have a motion. I'm
I'll
sorry.
make a motion on BOE 33, item number 16 on the agenda to set the value at 113,450.
Second.
All right. How do you vote, Ms. Teresa? How do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Town?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Okay. BOE number 34, 3184 Cox Street, number 1978, 51245. Property owner wants 120,000. The assessor has it at 151,500. The median 162,615. The mean 162,521. And he tried to talk about the sale, but the sale had been an estate sale. So that was an invalid sale that he wanted the assessor to use. Last year it was 135,500 and 133 the year.
Yeah, I'm fine with the assessor's evaluation. He's well below the mean and the median. It is a little higher than the percent increase over last year, but I think that's a good compromise in between 157.5.
Yeah, this property appears to have some catching up to do since with the sale being at 55 and probably didn't, I can't speak, but it may have been decades before anything happened for being part of an estate sale. So I agree with the assessor in this case. I move to set the fair market value of BOE 34, agenda item 17 at 157,500.
A second.
How do you vote, Mr. Town?
Yes.
Ms. Sellers?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Okay, for BOE number 35, it's 14488 Jess Drive. The property owner would like 80,000 and the assessor has it at 160,500. The median is 162,293 and the mean was 162,205. So we're below both of them, even though there was a substantial increase over the year before when it was 124,000.
And this one has, I think we need to look at a little. This was a 37.5% increase so year over year.
Yeah.
When that area only increased just close to 7%. And they did use all 24 comps. I just thought we might want to talk about this one a little.
Yeah, I kind of struggle with the same thing because it was a considerable increase. When I reran it just off of the Choctaw percentage, the evaluation comes in at 132,644, but the comps do appear to represent, the higher price. I'm trying to see if there's any outliers on the comps. There's one that comes in at 180, and then there's the lowest one comes in at 147. Most of them coming in around 150 and 160. If I take the average of those, I get 161,
Which is higher than what he has.
188, which is higher. Yeah, so.
Yeah.
So, I'm a little bit perplexed on this one because it is quite a bit of an increase over last year, but the comps do appear to support it.
What do you think?
Well, is there a chance that we could consider something maybe on the higher end, but lower than 160?
I'm fine with that. You want to do something like 150?
I think that would probably be appropriate in this case.
What is it? Yeah. What did you say? the Choctaw increase would make it.
132,
No.
644.
That's too low. Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys, the two of you say 150?
I'd like to settle something in between for the fairness to the taxpayer in this instance.
Okay. Entertain a motion.
I'd like to move on BOE 35, agenda item 18, that we set the fair market value of this property at $150,000.
I'll second.
How do you vote, Mr. Town?
Yes.
Miss,
Yes.
and Ms. Thompson says yes. All right. BOE number 36, 3076 North Henny Road, resident number 1966 71040. Taxpayer property owner wants 50,000. The assessor began at 89,500, dropped it to 75,780. The median was 75,781, and the mean was 77,913. So he's right at the median, but well below the mean.
Yeah, I'm fine with the assessor's recommendation of 75,780. I think everything here supports that.
Okay, I agree.
I'll make a motion on BOE 36, item number 19 on the agenda, to set the fair market value at 75,780.
Second.
Ms. Sellers?
Yes.
Mr. Town?
Yes.
Ms. Thompson says yes. Okay. Next one is BOE number 50, which is 6708 North St. Clair Avenue.
I do notice that 49 is still on the agenda, so that we want
It
to
got
just make a
moved.
statement that it was canceled. Yeah.
Yes. And it moved to next week? Yes. All right, so the next item then, BOE number 50, 6708 North Spirit. Wait a minute, St. Clair Avenue. It's at 63rd and Port. Okay, this is resident number 1424 61390. So the property owner was not hard and fast, but he wanted it somewhere close to 300,500. The assessor started at 356, went down to 350,000. There was a sale on this property in July of 17 for 250. I think this owner has had it the whole time. What is the signal? I've got 344,709.
Yeah, the assessor said he would be willing to accept that.
Okay. But the taxpayer would not.
The
Okay,
taxpayer was still looking for 300.
right.
I don't think it can be anything like, he was suggesting something less than 325,000. I don't think that's appropriate at this point. I would be willing to go with the assessor's last offer of 344,700.
I can too.
I agree.
I'd like to move on BOE 50, agenda item 21, that we set the fair market value of this property at 344,700.
I'll second.
And how do you vote, Ms. Sellers?
Yes.
Mr. Town?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Okay. Now I'm kind of screwed up here.
51.
Okay,
Yeah,
51, 2625 Sweetbriar,
Yes.
resident number 1267 711 090. The median for the comps was 344,000. I've got 351.5 and 319.5.
619.5 is what the assessor was.
BOE 51.
Yeah, this is the one where they didn't show up, but they said we could go in and talk
Oh,
about
that's right. Okay, so what did the assessor have in that?
The assessor went in originally at 619,500, and I believe my notes indicate that he offered the median of 612,310.
That's what I see as well.
And what did the guy?
They were asking for 576,207 on their initial.
Okay.
I could go with the assessor's latest offer of 612.
Yeah, I agree. That's the median. There was at least one outlier, I think, in the comps that would cause me not to want to go with the mean. It is a little bit higher than the increase over 2024, but it's not that outrageous, so I'm fine with the 612, 310.
Would you like to make a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion on BOE 51, item number 22 on the agenda to set the fair market value at $612,310.
Second.
How do you vote, Ms. Sellers?
Yes.
Mr. Town?
Yes.
And Ms. Thompson votes yes. Is this the last item on the agenda? No, sorry, no page. 51? The next one is 51, right?
It's agenda item 10, BOE 10. We agreed on this one.
That's 419,500. All right, and then BOE number 19. This is where we started on one and we did the wrong one. Is this 3202 Effie Drive?
3218.
3218 Effie Drive. But the assessor started out at 64,000.
Started out at 104.
This is the one that we started doing the wrong one. So I got my notes. Okay, so what did we, the assessor's at what?
I think the assessor ended up at 90,000 on this one. Do you have it?
I have the assessor is at 94,200.
94,200. 94,000.
Oh, I know why. 90. I'll bring it up in a second.
Okay, 94,200 and the taxpayer wanted 75.
Correct.
The reason this was the one we had the bathroom number discrepancy.
On two and
We're
one.
going to give the taxpayer the benefit of the doubt. So I'd like to lower the assessor's valuation by $4,000. Count for one less bathroom.
Okay, so that's why you're going with the 90,000.
That's why I'm going with the 90. I'm going with 90,200.
And we're at BOE number 19, right?
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to do, you good with that?
Yes.
So I'd like to move on BOE number 19, agenda item 24, that we set the fair market value of this property at $90,200.
I'll second.
How do you vote, Mr. Town?
Yes.
Ms. Sellers?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Okay, now BOE number 20 is 3202 Effie Drive.
Yes.
Okay. And he wanted 40,000. And the assessor started at 64 and dropped to 57.6. Okay. The median was 57,625 and the mean was 66,859. So we are below both of them.
Yeah, it's also below the increase over the 2024 valuation, so I'm fine with the 57.6.
Mm-hmm.
I'll make a motion on BOE 20, item number 25 on the agenda to set the fair market value of 57,600.
Second.
How do you vote, Mr. Town?
Yes.
Ms. Sellers?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Okay. BOE number 21. Trying to get what's going on with this one. Is this one at 150th in Portland?
21.
3142 F.
3120 Effie Drive. Okay.
3142.
Is this 66.9
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
and down from 79? And what did the taxpayer want on this one? 65? 50. Okay, that's up there. Okay, I don't disagree with it. Is this the median and the mean of?
Yeah, and it's below the mean. I'm fine with this one.
This property looks like it is it's going down in value, and this continues the curve. So I'd move that we accept the assessor's valuation of $66,960
I'll
this
second.
property.
I'll second.
How do you vote, Mr. Chan?
Yes.
Ms. Sellers?
Yes.
And Ms. Thompson votes yes. Okay, the next one then is BOE 22.
Yes.
3131. This one's at 36 and Henny, and the assessor has it at 196.5, and the property owner wants 120,000. The median was 195,756, and the mean was 184,220. It was 191 and 24 and 194 and 23. And it's on a little less than a quarter of an acre. So we are just above the median on this.
I'm fine with the assessor's valuation, even though the mean comes out a little bit less than that, about $10,000 less. I think the median, there's an outlier in that comp
Right.
where he seems to be quite a bit So I'm fine with using the median on this one. The valuation over last year's value supports it as well.
I agree.
I'll make a motion on BOE 22, item number 27 on the agenda to set the fair market value at 196,500.
Second.
How do you vote, Ms. Sellers?
Yes.
Mr. Town?
Yes.
I vote yes. That was. Okay, the next one is BOE number 23. 3161 Harper. The property owner wants 105,000. The assessor has it at 140. It was 135 the year before and 136 the year before that, and it's well below the median of 146,314 and a mean of 143,618.
I see no reason to not to accept anything other than the
Yeah.
assessor's valuation.
I agree.
I agree. I'd like to move on BOE 23, agenda item 28, that we set the fair market value of this property at $140,000.
I'll second.
How do you vote, Ms. Sellers?
Yes.
Mr. Town?
Yes.
Ms. Thompson votes yes. Okay, last item on the agenda, BOE number 24, 3141 North Harbor. The property owner wants 80,000. The assessor began at 100 at 1,500, dropped to 96,700. There were three comps. The mean was 96,722, and the median was 92,642. It was 96,000 the year before and 94,500 the year before.
I can support the assessor's recommendation of 96.7 using the median. I think the comps were a little bit wonky. There was one that was really low, one that was really high. So I think taking the median makes sense. Plus the valuation over 2024 supports it.
I agree.
I'll make the motion on BOE 24, item number 29 on the agenda to set the fair market value at $96,700.
Second.
How do you vote, Ms. Sellers?
Yes.
Mr. Town?
Yes.
And Ms. Thompson votes yes. Okay, that's the last item on the agenda. We are not doing Monday. We're doing Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, right?
Yes.
Of next week. Okay, anything further? No, I'll entertain a motion to